What was California like in the early 60s? It must have been a much more sun-drenched place than it is now.
Yeah, well, there were less people there then. And I was in high school. It was, the beach then was a very social place, you know. I mean, it was just a thing that everyone was really into, going to the beach and ditching school, you know, and go surf for a while, and everybody just would hang out there. It was a great, really a very great social happening of the early 60s for California. Actually, it was Los Angeles. It was a very localized thing, I think, in the LA area.
I also asked Mike, I wondered what the music would have sounded like had you not come from there, how much the music absolutely was a sound picture of the place.
Music would have sounded the same. The lyrics would have been different. The truth for me is the music is the feeling, you know, and it's always been so for us. The thing that we've been most interested in is creating the feeling, or in experiencing the feeling that is created when the music happens, when we all, you know, do our part that make up that sound, whatever it is.
What sort of feeling did you want to engender? I mean, a sort of feeling of optimism, or?
Whatever we got. We didn't know. We were just making records. We didn't know anything about the sounds or making, you know, how a record was made. We just lucked out, you know. That's the truth. We just got lucky. My dad knew a publisher, and we went to a studio and we made a record, and the way it sounded was the way it sounded, you know.
But it was as simple as that?
Yeah, that's right.
Tell me about your father. He seems to have been, from what Derek has told me, very
He was a
striking.
powerful man. Yeah, he really was powerful in his own way. Actually, he produced the first records that we did. And then as we learned how to record more, and Brian got more a hold of the art of making records, then Brian took over. But the first sessions that we did, my dad actually produced them. Actually, he'd be the one who'd say, well, that sounds good, or, you know, someone sing louder or softer or more of this or that, you know, feeling, or punch it or whatever.
Seems to have been a very idealistic man.
Yeah, he was really an honest man. He was really into us being honest men, you know, strong.
Your father, I stopped
Right. Yeah, my dad was a great man, you know. He was very good to us and helped us through a lot of things. We were very young, and it was, and perhaps, you know, coming from a background and then coming into a highly commercial and successful experience was quite a lot for us to handle, I think. And I think he was helpful to me very much in that regard. And he was aware that there were a lot of, he called them phonies, you know, a lot of hangers-on people, and that kind of, I don't know how to say it, just a lot of assholes, you know. And he was really aware of that, and he was very protective of us.
I was going to say, I mean, of all the great groups of the 60s, I mean, the Beach Boys always seemed to stand way above or outside or away from all that kind of idiocy. And I wondered how you reacted as California slowly became less and less the sort of sun-drenched place it had been at the beginning.
Yeah, well, you see, that's why I say that if we would have been somewhere else, the music would have been the same somewhere else, you know? Because it was the people and their experiences that led to that sound that Brian created. You know, it's Brian's feelings. You know, and I don't think we can get a hold of that one. You know, he just had a lot of feeling, and it came out. And he could express himself, and he can express himself very well musically. He's the best. He's, you know, he just really has got it. He's got a hold of music.
Why doesn't he tour with you anymore?
He didn't like it.
What did he like about it?
Well, he didn't like doing the same show every night. He didn't like airplanes. He didn't like being away from home. And he enjoyed more just making up songs. So that's what he did. And it was very difficult for him. And in the end, he just said, I just can't stand it. I'm stopping. And he did.
When he writes, does he write quickly or does he write slowly? And he
Quickly. See, he's never not writing. He's always writing. And then when it's like, let's say if Brian's written a tune, it's kind of like he's sharing it, you know? I've never known when he wasn't writing.
And does he, how does he write? Does he write at the piano?
Yeah. Or just thinks it up. He's written a lot of songs in the car, just humming, and you know, he'll just think up an arrangement and imagine certain instruments doing lines and figures and, you know, drum beats and stuff like that.
Do you enjoy the whole paraphernalia of touring?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, I love playing the most. I enjoy being in a lot of different places, experiencing people, and just the experience of it is a gas for me.
In the beginning, it all sounded you make it sound all very innocent, the approach to the making of the records.
It was totally innocent.
But the music has always retained that quality, hasn't it? I mean, the music always has a kind of freshness and positiveness.
Yeah, well, we love making music, you know, so if maybe that's a thing that gets reflected, because if I'm singing, it's really a joy to sing, you know. I mean, I love to sing, and I love to play, and the experience of it working when everybody's doing what they're supposed to do regarding a particular piece of music and it works, it's really a thrill, you know, and it really is, it's a joy. And maybe that's a thing that maybe that is the freshness that gets reflected on tape.